we are going to be discussing three main literary aspects within the short story Harrison Bergeron. Can you guys tell me where those are found? Grace.
The first one is an element of dystopia.
Actually, to be more specific, it's restricting individual thought.
The second one is hyperbole, and the third one is dystopian control.
To be more specific, it's bureaucratic control.
So class, where are these literary devices found in Harrison Bergeron? Joni.
In your mom?
Oh.
Right?
Excuse me, Joni Nguyen. This behavior will not be tolerated in my classroom. Get out.
Oh, okay.
Grace, what is an example of free thought being restricted within Harrison Bergeron?
An example of this is when George is watching the ballerinas. The text states, George was toying with the vague notion that maybe dancers shouldn't be handicapped, but he didn't get very far with it before another noise in his ear and radio scattered his thoughts.
Okay, so even though Miss Randall kicked me out, I am still going to do some analysis for these quotes because I'm just that overachieving student. In this example, for a dystopian element, independent thought is restricted. Due to the government's handicaps, George is unable to completely process his thoughts. This represents how in society, anyone that has the ability to sense the thoughts of the government are contained. The government has effectively controlled their people, making them mindless, as they are not allowed to freely think. In a dystopian society, the restriction of free thought is implemented. Likewise, in Harrison Bergeron, this element is displayed through George.
And now, what is an example of a hyperbole?
They leaped like deer on the moon. The studio ceiling was 30 feet high, but each leap brought the dancers nearer to it. It became their obvious intention to kiss the ceiling.
So in this example, for hyperbole, the ceiling is said to be 30 feet high, and if a person is around 5.5 feet, it's not exactly possible for one to jump or be thrown almost 6 times their height with human strength. This indicates how overly exaggerated this scene is. The exaggeration is so out of this world, it becomes a hyperbole, which is an element of dystopian society. The author may have used this hyperbole here to demonstrate the outlandishness of this particular scenario and to further emphasize how unusual Harrison Bergeron is.
And finally, what is an example of bureaucratic control within Harrison Bergeron?
Nobody was smarter than anybody else, nobody was better looking than anybody else, nobody was stronger or quicker than anybody else. All this equality was due to the 211th, 212th, and 213th Amendments to the Constitution, and to the unceasing vigilance of agents of the United States Handicapper General.
In this example, for bureaucratic control, it shows how this society has a government that has implemented rules and regulations into their system, which constricts people from living independently and with individualism. Everyone is stripped of what makes them human because of the government, which represents how controlling the leaders in society are. This is an element of bureaucratic control in society because it can be seen that even the government officials are brainwashed and do as they're told under the handicap general. This demonstrates how the society is controlled entirely by the government and the citizens have no choice but to follow. This was likely used by the author to show its audience how disastrous society can become when ran by a controlling bureaucracy.
Class, dismissed.